Hello students, I am Isha Mendiratha. In today's video, we are going to discuss
is a photodiode. The name itself has photo. Photo here means photons, that is light. So it is a semiconductor device which will convert the light it absorbs into current. So input in this case is light and output is in the form of current. And this is the only reason that this device is also known as a photosensor, or it is known as a photodetector. It senses the presence of light, or it detects the light. And how do we know that? Because it gives current as an output. Let's see how a photodiode is denoted. So you can see in the first diagram that it is denoted by a triangle and a vertical line. There are two arrows inward. These two inward arrows mean that light is being absorbed by the device. And second diagram indicates how actually a photodiode looks like. You can see it's a two-terminal device. There's a black cylindrical structure. You can see that this is translucent. It is not opaque because only then the light can be absorbed by the device. And inside the cylinder, there are two plate-like structures visible. The smaller cross-sectional area is the anode and the larger cross-sectional area is the cathode. And this is how a photodiode looks like when you hold it in your hand. Now let's move ahead and discuss what is photoelectric effect. Photoelectric effect is a phenomenon in which electrically charged particles, they are released from or within a material when it absorbs electromagnetic radiation. What is electromagnetic radiation? It is made up of series of photons. So it absorbs radiation and releases charged particles which are nothing but electrons. Let's see with the help of a diagram what is photoelectric effect. You can see from the diagram that there is h nu. H nu is nothing but we commonly use to denote a photon. So h nu or first photon is incident on the atom. So this photon just strikes the atom and it releases a photon. The photon strikes the atom and it releases one electron. Now the electron released in this manner is known as a photoelectron also. Why? Because the electron is released by absorbing light. So that is the reason it can be called as a photoelectron also. Then we have another diagram which also means the same. You can see in this diagram that photons strike on a material and electrons are released. Electrons are nothing but electrically charged particles. So this is basically the meaning of what is photoelectric effect. Now let's move ahead. What are the materials used in the construction of photodiode? Unlike LEDs, photodiode use indirect bandgap semiconductors or IBG. There is no need of DBG because photodiodes are not designed to emit light. Instead, they are designed in such a way that they absorb light and they give output in the form of current so that we can feel or sense the presence of light. Let's have a look at what materials it uses. So as I just now said, it uses indirect bandgap semiconductors in its construction. Then there are some of the examples. You have silicon, you have germanium, you have indium gallium arsenide, you have indium arsenide, antimonites, all you can see mostly compounds are used or compound semiconductors are used which are IBG in the construction of photodiodes. Let's understand the construction of a photodiode. In this diagram, how a photodiode is constructed is shown. You can see that there is an anode. Anode means the P-type semiconductor which has holes as majority. Then you have an N region. Just have a look at the diagram. As compared to the P region, the N region has a wider or more cross-sectional area. The same I showed you in the diagram of photodiode when I was explaining you how a photodiode looks like. There were two plates, one with a small cross-sectional area, one with a large cross-sectional area. So large cross-sectional area is nothing but the N-type semiconductor or the cathode. Then you can see that there's a P-N junction which is indicated by the green color in between the P and N regions. And you can see that there is a silicon nitride coating done Now, why is this coating required in case of a photodiode? See, photodiode is designed to absorb light. And we all know the property of light. Suppose light is incident at a particular surface, there is a possibility that some of the light is reflected back. So if I say the light reflected back is say 40%, so only 60% light can be absorbed by the device. But if the reflection increases, the amount of absorption will decrease, right? So we should have a coating such that the reflection of light is reduced. If this reflection is reduced, more and more light will be absorbed by the device and more light will be sensed by the device, giving us more current. So this is the purpose of having silicon nitride coating on the diode, right? Also, the PN junction diode is designed in such a way that majority light focuses on the PN junction. It is clearly indicated in the diagram. The 3 arrows which are shown, they are trying to focus on the active region. What is the active region? It is nothing but the depletion layer. You know, this photodiode is always designed in such a way that it is used in reverse bias only, because we know that in reverse bias the depletion layer is wide. So whenever light is incident on the photodiode, it is incident in such a way that more depletion layer is exposed to light. So this is how a photodiode is constructed. The PN junction is exposed to radiation. The other portion of glass material is painted black or metallized. I just now explained you the reason why is the need of metallizing the material, right? Now, so there are 2 basic reasons. One is metal coating, so that only the depletion layer is exposed to light. And second is the anti-reflection coating, so that the light is reflected less, so that it can be absorbed more. Now let's move ahead and discuss the operational modes of a photodiode. What are the modes in which a photodiode can be operated? Photodiode is actually designed to work in reverse bias. So if I am discussing reverse bias, that means I need an external supply also and I need a source of light also. Let's have a look at the first mode of photodiode, that is known as the photovoltaic mode. Photovoltaic mode, in other words, is nothing but the zero bias mode. In this case, what will happen? You are only exposing the photodiode to light. You are not giving any bias. Bias means you're not giving any external voltage. So there is no possibility of reverse or forward bias, right? We are only exposing the photodiode to light. In this case, some of the minority carriers can absorb the light and they can move towards the junction. But in this case, the current would be negligible because only the minority carriers move. Second mode of a photodiode is known as the photoconductive mode. The name itself says conductive means conduction takes place. So this is a mode in which reverse bias is also there and the photodiode is exposed to light both. So in this case, what will happen? Because we are giving reverse bias, the depletion layer width will increase. In this case, if the light is made to fall on the photodiode, more and more electrons will be released, giving us more current. So these are the 2 modes of a photodiode. Now let's move on to working of a photodiode. So as I said, a photodiode is made to work in reverse bias only. Reverse bias means the p-type semiconductor is connected to the negative terminal of battery. N-type semiconductor is connected to the positive terminal of battery. So this is how reverse bias of a photodiode is done. Let's have a look. Let's understand with the help of a diagram. So in this case, you can see the P terminal is being connected to negative and the N terminal is being connected to positive terminal of battery. You can also see that depletion layer is increasing. The width of depletion layer has increased due to the reverse bias. Clear? And you can also see that light is incident, which is shown in the form of blue colored arrows. That means now the photodiode is absorbing light. Now what happens if this photodiode absorbs light? So just understand, try to understand that P terminal is connected to negative of battery. So all the majority carriers are moving towards the battery, or I am saying that all the majority carriers are moving away from the junction. So there will be no recombination and there will be no current. But if these photons strike on the depletion layer, which has increased in size, why? Because we have given reverse bias. So there is a huge depletion layer, and if the light is being absorbed by the photodiode, that means electrons will be released, which were minority. They are now released and they try to cross the junction and give us current. So our carriers are generated by absorbing light, and that is how a photodiode works. This is what is known as the working of a photodiode. Let's understand with the help of a diagram. See, the electrons and holes are not able to move, but when the light is incident, electrons and holes move. The majority carriers move towards the junction. Just have a look. They're not able to move. Light falls on them and they try to move towards the junction. I have another explanation. You can see here that there is no light, no current in the emitter. But the moment light is incident, you can see that the current is increasing. More and more light is being absorbed, more and more is the value of current. So I can also say that the amount of current generated from a photodiode depends also on the intensity of light absorbed. Clear? So this was about the working of photodiode. Now, let's move ahead. So the applied voltage supplies energy to minority carriers, but it doesn't increase the number. How will the number increase when it is exposed to light? So the below diagram shows energy band diagram of a photodiode. Energy band diagram has P side and N side. You can see that there are photo-generated electrons and generated holes shown here. What are photo-generated electrons? The electrons which are released due to absorption of light. That I explained to you while I was explaining photoelectric effect. And you can see that the photo-generated electrons, they are moving towards the N and holes are moving towards the P. So this is how they recombine with each other, completing the circuit and giving us current. Now let's move ahead and discuss the characteristics of photodiode. Now actually, if I discuss about characteristics of a photodiode, it should be with respect to light. Because we have seen in the earlier animation that if the light intensity increases, the current is increasing, right? That was shown in the earlier animation. So here in reverse bias condition, you can see that because it's reverse bias condition, we have shown it in the third quadrant. So reverse bias voltage and reverse bias current, that is the reverse current in microamperes. What is dark current? Dark current is the current when the amount of voltage applied is zero. When there is no biasing, only due to light, the minority carriers give us some amount of current, which is known as the dark current. But you can see from the graph that as the value of current increases, light increases, current increases, right? So I1 to I2, I2 to I3, I3 to I4, I would say I4 is the maximum current because of maximum light. So there is a direct relation between the light absorbed and the current emitted. Let's discuss about advantages of a photodiode. They have a quicker response to light because of a small cross-sectional area. The moment they absorb light, they give current. So response is very fast. They have a high operational speed and response, and they have low cost. So it's basically a low cost device. It is just a PN junction diode only. Let's see some of the disadvantages of photodiode. So it is a temperature dependent device because it uses semiconductors. It shows poor temperature stability. Fluctuations would be there because of temperature changes. Then low illumination. If the illumination is very low, then amplification is necessary. Because if illumination is less, the amount of intensity of light absorbed would be less. So you would not get the actual amount of current. So these are some of the disadvantages of photodiode. Now let's discuss some applications of photodiode. So they are very commonly used as smoke detectors. They are used as photosensors. The basic working, the basic use is nothing but detection of light. Then they are used in CD players and remote controls, and they are also used in optical communication systems. The fiber optic communication system also uses photodiode. What is the use of photodiode in case of optical communication system? The output from the fiber optic cable is in the form of light. So to detect that light, photodiode is used. So these were some of the applications of photodiode. So in today's video, we have discussed what is a photodiode, its working principle, that is photoelectric effect. We have seen how is a photodiode constructed. We have also seen the working of photodiode, with the help of energy band diagram, we have seen some advantages and disadvantages along with applications of photodiode. Hope you have understood all the topics I discussed today very well. Thank you.